Ciao, Professor.
Ciao, Melody. How's Italy?
Great! Venice is beautiful.
Yes, the Suzhou of the West.
What?
Nothing. A sinologist joke, never mind. Did you find the seventh ding?
I did. Strangely, the resident priest, Father Sebastiano, almost seemed to be expecting me. While I was inspecting the Church of San Lorenzo, he introduced himself in Chinese and asked if he could help. I was up front. I told him my Chinese wasn't that great and asked in English if there were any ancient Chinese ceremonial vessels around. That's when he hugged me, told me how great my grandfather was, and took me to a cellar where he presented me with another crate. Of course, the eighth thing was inside and another clue.
I'm guessing that's why you're calling. How can I help?
Well, here's what it says. Padre Sebastiano is hardly the first Italian priest to speak Chinese. The first one is buried in Lima Do's tomb in Beijing. Go to that man's hometown and visit the university. Find Professor Pecorale at the East Asian Studies faculty. He has the eighth ding as well as the clue to the ninth and final ding.
Again, sorry, but you don't need me for this one. Google will tell you who's buried in Lima Do's tomb, tell you where his hometown is, and lead you right to Professor Pecorale. I've got class. We're looking at the later dynasties, the Ming and the Qing. Be sure to catch those lectures before you leave Venice. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci, Professor. Thank heavens for Google.
Having restored Chinese rule to China, the first Ming emperor tried to model his rule after that of the Han. But the Ming fell short of the Han's accomplishments. The land under Ming dominion was less than under either the Han or the Tang. The Ming dominion changed little after the first 2 decades. It was confined mostly to what is known as China proper, south of the Great Wall and east of Xinjiang and Tibet. In culture as well, the Ming lacked the Han's creativity and brilliance. Coming after almost a century of foreign domination, the Ming was a period of restoration and reorganization, rather than a time of new discovery. In a sense, the Ming followed a typical dynastic cycle: initial rehabilitation of the economy and restoration of efficient government, followed by a time of stability, and then a gradual decline and fall. The Emperor Hongwu modeled his government on the Tang system, restoring the doctrine and practices of Confucianism and continuing the trend toward concentration of power into the imperial government, especially in the hands of the emperor himself. He tried to conduct state affairs single-handedly, but the workload proved overwhelming. To assist him, he gathered around him several loyal mid-level officials, thus creating an extra government organization, the Grand Secretariat. The central bureaucracy was restored and filled by officials selected by the examination system. That system was further formalized by the introduction of a special essay style called the eight-legged examination. In the field of provincial government, the Hongwu Emperor continued the Yuan practice of limiting power of the provincial governors and subjecting them directly to the central government. The empire was divided into 15 provinces. The first capital at Nanjing was in the economic heartland of China. But in 1421, the Yongle Emperor took the throne after a civil war and moved the capital to Beijing, where he began a massive construction project, the Imperial Palace, which today is known as the Forbidden City. Important among the Ming contributions was one in philosophy, where a philosopher named Wang Yangming developed and popularized a system of thought today known as Neo-Confucianism. It ran counter to the orthodox teachings of Zhu Xi, the famous compiler and editor of the Confucian classics. While Zhu Xi believed in learning based on reason and the investigation of things, Wang Yangming believed in the learning of the mind, an intuitive process, and centered on a practice of self-cultivation. In this way, Neo-Confucianism adapted many of the practices and principles of Taoism and Buddhism